Jack Ryan's one of those characters where he's sort of an action hero and sort of just a regular guy, which I really love. I mean, there's something about Jack Ryan that I think is such a great hero for right now. He doesn't have a cape, he doesn't have stuff flying out of his hands. He's just a guy with his brain and his instincts, and he's trying to figure things out. And there's a little part of us that should all feel like we could be Jack Ryan.
Do you do this often? Kidnapping innocent people off the street and interrogate them?
You're my first one, actually.
I mean, I've been a big fan of Jack Ryan since I was a kid. I was a fan of the books and then big fan of the movies. And in my opinion, he's sort of our James Bond for America. Less sex, but he's our James Bond. I'm a huge fan of the movies, so I've seen them many times, so I decided not to revisit them so immediately for the part. It was really about sort of my idea of what I hoped someone would be in the position that he's in. So I actually just pretend no one has done this role before me. I act shocked when people bring it up.
I am not field personnel. I am only an analyst.
You're perfect.
Get down! I'm in the CIA.
I've never heard of any of the actors playing Jack Ryan, but my favorite would be Alec Baldwin. Because you always remember your first. And, you know, I just thought Hunt for Red October I remember that being a shift and a change and a different kind of movie. And then, you know, obviously Harrison Ford was amazing too, and he's sort of amazing at everything he does. I'm a huge fan of Harrison Ford's.
I couldn't just stand there and watch him shoot those people. It was rage.
There's something about being less movie version of it and a little bit more real with it, a little more reality bringing to it. When you meet the real people and you hang out with them and you spend a lot of time with them, you realize that the dedication's really in the work. It's got to be a foolproof case that you present before you move forward down the line on any sort of action taken.
Sir, 9/11 cost $500,000. If he is real, what do you think he can do with 20 times that amount of money? We have to chase this down. Once the money's gone, he's gone. I promise you that.
And then the idea of doing it on long-form television was really interesting to me because the pitch to me was maybe movies isn't the best medium for Jack Ryan because you got to pack so much into 2 hours, whereas Tom Clancy's books were so rich with detail and specificity about who he was and what he's going through, so you get to play with a lot more of the same tone that the books had.
Just order a demarche and freeze the account.
Is there anything else?
We've definitely modernized the show and the character. They're not based on the books. They're actually just taking the character and putting him in situations very similar to the books. The books were stories of the moment, so they're slightly dated now because they were very relevant then. All the geopolitical things that are going on in the world, Jack Ryan's sort of a great geopolitical figure to get in the middle of it and sort of lead you through these things you might be reading about in the newspaper. Getting to learn how to row for real was interesting because, you know, it seems really easy when you're on a rower, but then you get on water and it's a whole different ballgame. My wife was shooting Mary Poppins when I first started training on the water, and so I was actually rowing on the Thames, and turns out I was trained by this amazing Olympian, and she said that if you can row the Thames, you can row anywhere because this is actually a really difficult river to row. So, you know, I was literally thrown in the deep end. Going to the CIA and getting to meet different people, certainly being at the building is something that I've always wanted to do. Obviously, I knew that they had dedicated their lives to the idea of the agency, but when you actually meet them, these people are a much more diverse group than you would imagine, a much more apolitical group than you would imagine, which is really refreshing. I think the idea of caring about the country in a bigger, more idealistic way rather than a political way.
Not that kind of State Department.
I'm not asking for top secret info. I'm asking which way the wind is blowing. There must have been a memo or something.
That's not quite how it works.
You know, the problem with this self-righteous Boy Scout routine is that one day you're gonna wake up and realize that you've been lying to yourself.
Their job is that they're always trying to do the right thing. There are things that they may feel they don't want to do or feel is not moral to them, so they will not do that certain aspect of the mission. There's always a different way to find out the information you're trying to get. And I just, again, I was so relieved and sort of honored to be there among a group of people who are so dedicated to the rest of us.